Welcome back, everyone. Today we're diving deep into a concept that's often lurking beneath the surface of many organizations: suboptimization.
Absolutely. It's such a critical issue. So let's break it down. What exactly is suboptimization?
Suboptimization is essentially when individual departments or processes get so focused on their own goals that they lose sight of the bigger picture. It's
Yeah,
like having a sports team where every player is a star individually, but they're not passing the ball, you know?
right. I've seen that before. It's like when the offense is working overtime, yet the defense is kind of neglected.
Exactly. And this isolation can lead to inefficiencies, higher costs, even lower quality output across the
Hmm.
organization. Instead of a cohesive performance, you end up with a bunch of isolated good pockets that, when combined, don't quite add up.
So, what are some of the key causes that lead to this phenomenon?
Great question. One major factor is poor communication.
Yeah,
If teams aren't effectively communicating, then each department might assume their specific target is the only important metric. This creates silos where, like essential information, just gets stuck in one part of the company.
true. And then you also have conflicting objectives. When different groups have different priorities, it's almost as if they're racing in different directions rather than running a relay together.
Right on. And another cause can be inefficient processes themselves. If you have outdated systems or redundant procedures, even the best intentions can really get lost in the shuffle.
Yeah, exactly. It's interesting how resource allocation plays into this, right? I mean, when resources are limited, departments might hoard what they have instead of sharing for overall improvement.
Definitely. Limited resources can enforce a kind of tunnel vision where each team looks out only for its own survival. And um, that narrow focus invariably leads to suboptimal outcomes for the organization as a whole.
So, efficacy takes a hit through all sorts of channels: efficiency, productivity, and even employee morale.
Exactly. And that's where the ripple effects really show up. Think about it: decreased efficiency and productivity, increased costs due to wasted resources, and a drop in the quality of the output.
Right, it becomes a vicious cycle. When one part of your process isn't aligned, it affects customer satisfaction as well, doesn't it?
It surely does. If customers aren't getting the quality they expect, maybe because the sales team focused on hitting numbers without collaborating with quality control, the overall reputation of the business takes a hit.
Yeah. And then there's that challenge of outdated technology. How does that factor into suboptimization?
Oh, that's a big one. When companies stick to outdated systems, not only does it slow down the processes, but it also compounds inefficiencies across departments. Picture trying to run modern apps on a floppy disk. It's just not practical,
Hmm.
right?
I agree, but don't you think sometimes there's resistance to change too? Like, people might prefer the old way even if it's suboptimal.
Absolutely, and that's a great point. Resistance to change, often driven by comfort or fear of the unknown, keeps organizations locked into suboptimal practices. This limited perspective prevents them from adopting more efficient modern solutions that lead to holistic improvement.
So basically, suboptimization is not just a structural problem but also a cultural one.
Exactly. It's about the mindset too. When teams are not encouraged to collaborate and think holistically, they miss out on potential synergies that could really elevate overall performance.
And would you say that one of the main ways to identify suboptimization is by analyzing key performance indicators?
Yes, that's right. KPIs and metrics provide a quantifiable way to compare performance against benchmarks. They help pinpoint where things might be off balance. If one department is overperforming at the expense of another, you see those discrepancies in the
Right.
numbers.
But metrics aside, isn't gathering employee feedback equally important? I mean, the people on the front line often notice these inefficiencies firsthand.
Absolutely. Employee feedback is invaluable. Frontline workers can spot bottlenecks and inefficiencies that might not immediately show up in data. Their insights enable leaders to dig deeper into the root causes and address them effectively.
Speaking of addressing these issues, what are some strategies to combat suboptimization?
Well, one key strategy is to improve overall communication and foster collaboration. When leadership supports transparent, open dialogue, everyone gets to see the bigger picture. It's like tuning an orchestra. You need every instrument in sync to create beautiful music.
Right. You really need that collective harmony. And streamlining processes is another big point, isn't it?
Yes, streamlining processes by eliminating redundancies and automating wherever possible helps reduce friction between departments. Instead of each segment doing its own thing, you create a streamlined, efficient workflow that benefits everyone.
Exactly. And then, on the leadership side, strategic resource investment becomes pivotal. If you're not investing in updated technology and training, then you're essentially ensuring that suboptimization persists.
Spot on. Investing in resources like technology, talent, or even better process management tools is fundamental to prioritizing holistic success over narrow departmental wins.
Yeah. However, I sometimes wonder, can there be instances where what appears as suboptimization might actually be a strategic decision in the short term?
That's a valid critique. In some cases, a department might focus on its own metrics temporarily to, say, drive a fast turnaround. But if that focus doesn't eventually align with and contribute to the overall strategy, then it becomes a liability.
So we have to balance between local optimization and full scale organizational goals, right?
Exactly. Think of it like seasoning a stew. Too much salt in one part makes it uneven, even though each ingredient is good on its own. You need to balance it all together to get the perfect
Yeah,
flavor.
that's a great analogy. It's interesting because this idea of sub-optimization touches on every facet of a business, from quality procedures and financials to HR policies and IT systems.
Absolutely. It's all interconnected. Addressing these gaps requires integrating a systems thinking approach. That's when you consider how every part impacts the whole.
Right on. And that integration isn't just a technical fix, it's about fostering a culture where collaboration and open feedback are the norms.
Exactly. And that cultural shift is what truly moves an organization from fragmented progress to sustainable, holistic success. By addressing suboptimization head on, companies can improve quality, drive down costs, and boost overall customer satisfaction.
Wow, it really sounds like tackling suboptimization is about much more than just process tweaks. It's a comprehensive overhaul of mindset, communication, and strategy.
Exactly. It's a marathon, not a sprint. Companies must continuously evaluate and align their internal processes with their broader goals to avoid those pitfalls.
And ultimately, that's what sets apart truly innovative and adaptive organizations from those that remain stuck in their silos.
Well said. It's been a fantastic discussion, and I hope listeners take away that balancing departmental excellence with organizational unity is key to long term success.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for the deep dive into sub optimization. It's definitely something every business leader needs to reflect on.
Thanks for joining in. Until next time, keep pushing for that whole system optimization, and remember, no piece thrives alone.